As the calendar flips to 2024, the MACtion returns as it's the Mid-American Conference opener for the Ball State Cardinals and Kent State Golden Flashes. Happy New Year, everyone. Alongside my partner, Jana Ashley, I'm Andy Jardy. Both of these teams coming in on two-game losing streaks would love nothing more than to start the new year off in the win column. And Jana, for Ball State to do that, they're going to rely on one of the top trios in the Mid-American Conference.
Three great players for Ball State. Two teams coming off of two losses. They both want to finish the night 1-0 in the MAC.
It is one of the more impressive trios in the Mid-American Conference between Jihad, Anderson, and Pearson Jr. back in the lineup.
Jihad leading the team in scoring, rebounding, shooting 50% from the field. He's a 6'9" forward, could be a good matchup with Chris Payton tonight. Jaleel Anderson leading the team in assists, second on the team in scoring. He gets it done on both ends of the floor. Mickey Pearson Jr., third in that trio, scoring 12 points a game, but he leads the team in minutes, and he's a knockdown shooter at 40% from the three-point line.
Both meetings against the Golden Flashes last year, Jihad scored in double figures, so watch out for him tonight. And for Kent State, it's Mr. Consistent, the preseason first-team All-MAC selection, Chris Payton Jr., who continues to shine for the Golden Flashes.
Chris Payton Jr. leading the team in points, rebounds, blocks, steals. Like you said, Mr. Consistent, shooting just over 50% from the field. He's doing a great job at the free throw line. He's emerged as a leader on the floor emotionally. He's at his best when he's playing above the rim, getting out in transition, and getting the crowd going.
He had 18 points in the last game against St. Mary's. MAC play begins tonight. We take a look at the standings coming into conference play. Ball State sitting at third, Kent State right behind them, and what figures to be another great season in the Mid-American Conference. There you see a look at the Ball State head coach, Michael Lewis, in his second season, 28-16, and really turned the program around pretty quickly last year in his first season. First head coach to produce a 7-game winning streak in their first year coaching. 16-7 start last season was their best start to a season since 1999-2000. And there for Kent State, Coach Rob Senderoff, who has been here for quite a while now, 254 wins at Kent State, 13th season, 2022 MAC Coach of the Year, 8 20-win seasons.
And if you're Coach Lewis for Ball State, the conference schedule comes out. Kent State, the MAC Center, really tough place to play. Not what you want to see as your conference opener, especially when your team's been struggling on the road.
They have been struggling on the road. The home road splits for Ball State are pretty crazy, as the Golden Flashes will control the opening tip, and we're underway here in the MAC Center. MACtion here for you. Tonight's lineup is brought to you by IBEW NECA, and it's a bit of a change for the Golden Flashes as you see Rollins and Moss get the starts tonight. Turnover by the Flashes there. We take a look at the Ball State starting lineup tonight. As we mentioned, that trio early on, Jihad, Anderson, Pearson, Bailey, and Hendricks. Both Pearson and Hendricks back in the lineup after missing that Minnesota game.
And three guys in the starting lineup that can really shoot it from the three-point line, 39%, 49% from Bailey. Expect Ball State to come out firing tonight.
Both teams empty on their first possession. Golden Flashes getting it inside the paint. Nice turnaround move. Doesn't fall. Cardinals now, both of these offenses, very high-scoring offenses. Could see a lot of points on the scoreboard tonight. Here's a three from outside, no good. Santiago with the board. Santiago gets it inside to Payton. Payton goes in, count the bucket, and one. Chris Payton.
Love to see Chris Payton get involved early with the pick and roll. Great pass from Gio Santiago.
Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Ohio State Highway Patrol, Jana, and for Ball State, control the boards. Kent State had a difficult time on the boards against St. Mary's, so key point for Ball State.
And for Ball State, they're second in the MAC in rebounding margin at almost +5. Second for them, keep Kent off the free throw line. As we see Chris Payton going to the line, a great free throw shooter right here. And then they need production. If they're going to come on the road and get a MAC win, they need production from those big three. For Kent State, team rebounding. Missing some size in the lineup, missing some rebounding from Claron Hornbeek. Who's going to fill that gap? Defend the three-point line. Like we talked about, Ball State can really shoot it from the three-point line. And then how does Kent State respond to adversity? Coming off of 2 losses, 2 road losses, some adversity with differences in the lineup, some injuries. Who responds? Who steps up tonight for Kent State?
Deep 2 right there for Ball State, their first points of the night. Trying to get it to Peyton, but it's taken away. Ball State now looking to get something in transition.
2 early turnovers from Kent State, uncharacteristic. But you have to wonder about the chemistry of this lineup and how much time they've had on the floor together, even in practice in the last few days.
Yeah, both Rollins and Moss making their first starts of the season. Coach Sunderoff shaking up the lineup a little bit after two tough games out on the West Coast at Oregon and St. Mary's. Santiago gets it back inside to Peyton, who goes through the defenders, is going to draw the foul.
I like the focus offensively from Kent State so far. We've seen in 2 possessions the screen and roll action with CP and Gio. Keep the ball in your senior point guard's hands and get it to your leading scorer off the roll. CP going back to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was an impressive move to get between all those Cardinal defenders. As Peyton goes to the line, a 78% shooter on the year.
One more.
Mason Jones checks in for the Cardinals. Kent State, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the country. Second one is good. Right now it's Peyton 5, Ball State 2. Jihad inside, finds Pearson. Shot rejected, or at least altered by Peyton. Flash is looking to go in transition. Santiago open for 3. Just missed it, but Kent State able to keep possession back out to Santiago. 3 is up and in and out. But a good look for Kent State that trip.
Think about this lineup for Kent State, maybe not as much experience or scoring to start the game, but you know these guys are going to play hard. You look at Julius Rollins, he's always that defensive spark off the bench. Look at a guy like Ty Freeman, he's going to defend, he's going to make open threes. Brendan Moss plays super hard. He's going to be aggressive getting to the rim. So, you know, maybe not the big numbers offensively, but you know these guys are going to bring the energy when they get the opportunities to start a game.
Well, and you would think, too, with this being their first start of the season, they're going to want to make it count. Like, they're out there to prove something.
Absolutely.
That they should.
Play me, coach.
Yeah. Trying to get it inside to Peyton and kick ball, or did they call a foul on that? Von Cameron Davis comes in for the Golden Flashes. Good start for Rollins.
Von Cameron Davis is going to bring versatility, the ability to defend multiple positions. He's a physical guy. He rebounds. He gets on the floor. He can make things happen for guys around him.
Freeman goes in. Unable to get it, but Peyton there to tip it in. Chris Peyton, all 7 points. Ball State trying to figure out what they want to do offensively. Jihad with it.
I think we're seeing some uncertainty from Ball State. Gonna get a shot clock violation.
Oh. It's always how it goes when the possession looks like it's going nowhere. The desperation shot always seems to fall. But a big bucket there for Ball State. They needed something. Makes it a 1-possession game again. Moss with the pump fake. They get it inside to Peyton. Santiago feeds Peyton again. A lot of contact. No call. That will go out of bounds. It will stay with Kent State. 7-4 Golden Flashes. Chris Peyton, all 7 of the points here early. Back here in the Mack Center, Kent State with the early 7-4 lead in what we expect to be a pretty closely contested game here tonight. These two teams on paper very evenly matched and two of the higher scoring offenses in the Mid-American Conference.
You see both teams can score, but you mentioned earlier the home road split. That 75 points a game for Ball State is a little bit deceiving. They may struggle to score 60 tonight on the road.
Yeah, coming into this, they average 83.3 points per game at home, but on the road, just 59. So it has been difficult, to say the least, for Ball State when they leave their home court. And already, you're seeing Kent State, something they struggled with in that St. Mary's loss. The ball movement just wasn't there, and there seems to be very much a point of emphasis to move the ball around. They've been feeding Peyton inside here early on as they get it to him again off the inbounds and just can't get it to fall.
Definitely a point of emphasis so far. Get Chris Peyton touches, give him an opportunity to make a decision. Is he going to score? Is he going to create for someone else?
Anderson works around the screen, goes up with the contact, no call there, and it's going to go out of bounds. It will stay with the Cardinals. Anderson will inbound underneath. Pearson will chase it down. Anderson kick out. Now they go inside to Jihad. Jihad goes up, count the bucket, and one. Bashir Jihad.
Von Cameron Davis, typically a very smart defender. Ooh, watching that replay, I'm not exactly sure where the foul call comes from. Kent State really takes a lot of pride in defending without fouling, going straight up to contest shots. Looked like Von Cameron Davis did a great job of that. The officials obviously see otherwise.
Jihad, a just about 70% free throw shooter, knocks it down and ties this thing up at 7. Jihad has been quite the force for Ball State. Leads the team in points, rebounds, field goal percentage. 2-time MAC Player of the Week this year. Reggie Bass getting some minutes now for the Golden Flashes. Santiago drives in. There's that ball movement as it gets to Peyton, and Peyton just can't finish the layup.
Good offensive possession from Kent State. Like you said, great ball movement, sharing the ball, making the extra pass. Just doesn't quite finish. Chris Peyton normally throws that one down, but a good possession, definitely something that the coaches want to see more of.
I feel like we're almost shocked when he gets in there and doesn't throw it down. That was it, you know, thought he was going to, and then maybe he got caught in between. After a good start offensively for Kent, last couple possessions, they haven't been able to convert. Feed inside to Davis. Davis muscles his way up, can't complete the bucket though. And now the Cardinals pushing the tempo. 3 in transition is good. Davion Bailey.
Bailey, 49% from the three-point line. He's a guy you have to find in transition, and you have to find him early.
Golden Flashes go inside to Peyton. Jihad with good defense. It's gonna be a fun matchup all night. Peyton gets it off the glass. The banks are open here on the holiday season.
And could have been an and one. The way they called the post defoul on Von Cameron Davis the last possession, should have gotten the same call on this end.
Kick out into the corner, driving in, and offensive foul. Reggie Bass. As you see here on the replay, Ball State in transition Bailey with the big-time three.
And that's something that your transition defense, you have to stop the ball, you have to cover the rim, but then you have to go find shooters on the three-point line. A little bit of miscommunication from Kent State there.
Bailey has scored in double digits in 4 of the 8 games he's played in this season. Bass with it, drives in, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Reggie Bass has a knack for getting to the free throw line. He does such a good job creating the contact, drawing contact, selling that. He'll go to the free throw line. He needs to see the ball go in. He's a guy who can really score it. If he can find a rhythm early in this game, he could replace some of the offense that Kent State has sitting out tonight.
Yeah, he's the reigning MAC Freshman of the Year, transferring in from Central Michigan, and I feel like everyone's kind of waiting for the big performances we saw he had with the Chippewas to kind of translate over here.
He can absolutely create his own shot. He can get to the rim. He's a better shooter than I think his numbers have shown so far this season. Once that gets going for him, once he starts hitting it from the three-point line, he's going to be a really tough guy to guard as we go through this MAC play.
He makes both, gives Kent State the lead again as the Golden Flashes perfect from the free throw line tonight, 5 of 5. And Santiago, a little too aggressive there, picks up the foul. Curious to see too which of these two teams, you know, Ball State hasn't played in about 2 weeks. Kent State had 2 West Coast trips around the holidays, so who would be maybe a little more out of sync? Kent State from the traveling or Ball State from not playing, but Bailey certainly looks like he's ready to go, knocks down the mid-range.
See Magnus Intamin getting on the floor for Kent State. Guy who hasn't seen a lot of time, but will potentially be on the floor more for Kent State with the injuries and the lack of depth that they have at the center position.
Intamin misses the 3. He's got just 2 points on the season, and that came in Kent State's last game at St. Mary's. But yeah, they're going to have to look for some people to fill the shoes of Claron Hornbeek, who will be out for at least a couple of weeks. And Pearson just couldn't hold on to the ball there. Kent State will take over.
Unforced turnover from Ball State. Very frustrating in a one-possession game. But the positive side of that is it's a dead ball turnover. It doesn't allow Kent State to get out and run in transition. They're going to have to come down and run offense here.
Micah Bell checks in for the Cardinals. As Bass feeds it inside. Intamin with a nice bucket. Back and forth we go. Kent State takes the lead again.
See Kent State exploiting the fact that Ball State's ball screen defense is not very good right now. They're really struggling to defend that post player on the roll.
That shot hit the top of the backboard. So back and forth we go. Kent State leads 13-12. Magnus getting in on the action. Golden Flashes up 1. One-point game here in the MAC Center, the MAC opener for these two schools here tonight, and a series that's pretty evenly matched, and they've met quite a few times. 90th meeting in the series coming into tonight.
And split the series last season, both teams winning at home. I remember being on that trip at Ball State, Myron Thomas going back to the school that he transferred from. The crowd was crazy, tough loss, and an even longer trip home after losing on the road.
Yeah, Ball State's last win here at the MAC Center, you go back to February 4th, 2020. They won 62-54. Interesting enough, too, Ball State has won its last 6 MAC openers. Their last loss was here at Kent State on January 3rd, 2017, almost to the date.
And like I said earlier, if you're coaching Ball State, when the conference schedule comes out, you don't want to see Kent State on the road as your home, as your MAC opener.
These two will meet again March 5th at Worthen Arena for Ball State's final home game and senior night.
Very interesting how that conference schedule works out. First conference game, and then we don't play again for 2 months. both of these teams will be completely different last game going into the MAC tournament in Cleveland.
Freeman hits them both, pushes the Kent State lead up to 3 as the Golden Flashes remain perfect from the free throw line. Bailey pulls up, shot no good. Davis pulls down the board. Back out with Peyton, who gives it over to Reggie. You can see them trying to get it back inside to Peyton. Freeman, nice little hook shot.
Nice touch from Ty Freeman. I'd like to see him with the patience, taking his time, allowing the lane to clear. A nice little turnaround jumper.
He had a season high 16 points and 7 rebounds in the loss at Oregon back on December 21st. So starting to get some more playing time and starting to maybe find his rhythm.
And talking to Ty, just in my day-to-day, he's starting to feel so much more comfortable in the system on both ends of the floor. And you can see that showing with the production that he's had in these last few games.
The production and the confidence to take that kind of shot, too. That's not an easy shot, but he certainly was feeling it.
And missing Claron Hornbeek, Ty Freeman's going to have to step up and start taking and making a lot more shots just like that. They're going to need a guy that can get those high percentage looks in the paint.
Jalen Sullinger has checked in for the Golden Flashes, his first time getting into the game here tonight. Pearson for 3, got it.
Another defensive lapse for Kent State. Great shooter, can't be that far away from him, and you have to close out strong.
Pearson, a pretty good three-point shooter on the year, just under 40%. Gets it back down to a one-possession game. 10 to shoot, Sullinger drives in, floater. Ooh.
Tough shot from Jalen Sullinger. Love to see him come off the bench with the confidence that he always plays with and being aggressive, getting to the rim.
Too aggressive there, gets called for the foul. Take a look again, Sullinger. I was curious to see how he was gonna, respond to not starting tonight. You talk about the guys that did get to start tonight. They want to prove that they should be out there. Now Sullinger in the game, chip on his shoulder, wants to go out and prove something.
Absolutely, he's the second leading scorer on the team for a reason. When he comes in and gets his opportunities, he's definitely going to make the most of it. He leads the team in minutes. He's generally a guy that's hard to take off the floor. So when he comes in now, if he's productive, Coach Cindy's going to stay with him and allow him to lead the team the way he has all season.
And there's the foul that they called. Not really sure there was a whole lot there. Sullinger goes up and gets the board. Bass picks up the foul.
Has to be on the opponent's scouting report that you have to play clean defense against Reggie Bass. If there is any chance that he can draw a foul, he is so good at doing that and getting himself to the free throw line.
Bass from the free throw line, 81% free throw shooter.
Interesting to see Jalen Sullinger still on the floor now, even though we know he's a guy who plays a lot of minutes and can really score. But he comes in a minute and a half and picks up 2 quick fouls.
Yeah.
Not a guy that you want to see in foul trouble if this is a tight game down the stretch in the second half.
Bass makes them both. So far, the biggest difference in this game right now, Kent State's free throw shooting. Ball State has just made 1 trip to the line. Golden Flash has 9 points from the free throw line.
And that was something that we talked about in the keys to the game. For Ball State, keep Kent State off the free throw line. They're 7th in the nation in fewest fouls committed per game. Kent State does a great job knocking down free throws.
Off the turnover, Golden Flash is looking to push the pace. Sullinger gets it, redirects the offense. Back out to Sullinger, 13 to shoot. Sullinger drives in, a lot of contact, count the bucket, Jalen Sullinger.
Jalen Solinger getting back to that strong left hand. Love to see him being aggressive. If you're going to let him get to his left hand, he's going to knock a lot of those down.
Yeah, he's now 2 for 2 on those floaters. The Cardinals are going to take a timeout as this has pushed out to an 8-point lead for Kent State, largest lead of the night for them. And Solinger will try and convert the 3-point play on the other side of the timeout. Good crowd on hand here tonight. You know, we weren't quite sure what to expect with it being the holiday break, but they've come out to support their Golden Flashes here tonight.
You know, no students in town for the next 2 weeks, but this just proves how much the community of Kent and how much these the Golden Flash Club down here in the season ticket range, they come out to support. It doesn't matter what night of the week or what time of the year. That's why the MAC is such a tough place to play.
Yeah, it really is, and they've done a great job keeping it updated, the renovations. When I was here as a student, they've made some changes, but I was talking to someone that was down here for the Cleveland State game, and they were saying how, you know, the atmosphere here is something that they wish they had at Cleveland State. Just the way that they've got it made down here in Kent is pretty impressive for the mid-major level.
Cool atmosphere tonight, but give us 2 weeks to let the students get back in town for MAC play, and it's going to be loud.
Conference play is just so fun. It really is. Kent State remains perfect from the free throw line, 10 of 10, and the lead up to 9. This is what Ball State has struggled with all year, is just scoring on the road. As that shot rejected, taken away. Flash is looking to push the tempo.
Good defensive stop for Kent State. You see the starters back on the floor. Hopefully defensive stops lead to shots like that from Brendan Moss.
Brendan Moss gets in. Kent State now a double-digit lead. Not sure how he got that one to fall.
Another strong left-handed guard on the Kent State roster. Brendan Moss, if you let him get to that left hand, he's going to knock a lot of those down.
Jihad gets fouled. He will shoot 3. So you take a look at the block by Rollins, and then finishing it on the other end, Brendan Moss. Fifth foul on the Golden Flashes. Jihad misses. He's just under 70% free throw shooter. In that loss at Minnesota, their last game, which was about 2 weeks ago, he had 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. One of those 3 pretty outstanding players that Ball State's got, that triple threat we talked about in pregame.
And another guy who's going to spend a lot of time on the floor, over 30 minutes a game. They're going to rely heavily on their top 6 or 7 players, with him being probably 3rd as far as minutes played. Those guys can score, and you can tell the trust that their coach has in them. They spend a lot of time with the ball in their hands.
He's got 4 double-doubles this season, and he had 3 in a row back in early December. Nice drive inside. Got a little bit too far under the hoop, though. Now Ball State trying to push the tempo. That shot rejected. Ball State keeps possession, though.
Great job scrambling back out and getting to those 3-point shooters.
Oh, another rejection. Whew, nothing coming easy for Ball State right now. As Kent State, Ty Freeman, the landlord wants his rent down there. 26-17. Golden Flashes up 9. As Rollins gets up with the block. Back here in the MAC Center, where Kent State holds a 26-17 lead. Big reason for that is they've been able to get to the free throw line, and Ball State has had a little bit of foul trouble here tonight. Not something that they're accustomed to.
Not something that Ball State normally does, but that's a testament to how aggressive Kent State has been getting to the rim. You saw early on the screen and roll, hitting CP on the roll. We've seen Jalen Sullinger attacking the rim hard. We've seen Reggie Bass attacking the rim, Brendan Moss attacking the rim. It's not just a Ball State thing. I think it's Kent State is doing a great job being aggressive and forcing them.
Yeah, Kent State 10 of 10 from the free throw line here so far. Sullinger remains in the game. Payton came out hot, scored the first 7 points. Looks to get back into the scoring column, and he does with a nice turnaround jumper.
And that's a move that we've seen throughout the season. CP with the patience and using multiple dribbles before he gets to his spot in the middle of the paint. Other teams have done a good job crowding him and going to double him and force turnovers. Ball State letting him play one-on-one. CP's a tough guy to guard if you're going to let him go one-on-one.
Look how Payton goes up but can't finish the dunk. Man, is he electric. Even his misses are impressive.
He's a unique athleticism.
Jihad runs out of room down there, turns it over. So the Kent State defense tonight, after struggling on those 2 West Coast games, granted 2 tough opponents going to Oregon and St. Mary's, they have been much better here tonight at home.
And for Kent State, it's just get back to being who they are. They defend, they force turnovers, they get steals, they get out in transition and score easy buckets because they get stops on the defensive end.
Henneman back in the game for Kent State. Bass, nice crossover, lays it up off the glass. Reggie Bass.
Tough shot.
Kent State's largest lead now at 13 points. Where do the Cardinals go for offense? Bailey deep. Well, that's one way to do it.
That's exactly where they go for offense. If Kent State will guard the three-point line, they're in a great chance of winning this game tonight. If they let Ball State get going from the three-point line, this is going to be a much closer game than anybody in the MAC Center wants it to be.
.5:30 to go here, first half. MAC opener for both of these schools. Davis spinning off the glass, can't get it to go. Henneman there though for the rebound. Will go to the line and shoot 2. Reggie Bass, tough shot last time down, but he has really had himself a nice little ball game.
He's such a playmaker. He can create, he can get by most anybody in the MAC off the dribble. He is a crafty guy, great finisher right around the rim.
And the first career free throw for Magnus is good. Pushes the lead back up to double digits for Kent State.
Cool to see these guys off the bench for Kent State when they get their moment. Magnus puts in the work, worked his butt off, great guy, great student, and when he gets in, to see him be successful early in this game is really cool.
And it's going to be pretty much all hands on deck here for the Golden Flashes these next couple weeks as they navigate around the Hornbeak injury and Gillespie injury as well too. And an offensive foul going the other way.
Tough call for Kent State. You never know in the men's game if that illegal screen is going to be called or not. Sometimes it's every time. In other games, it's so illegal and never called. But clearly, it's going to be a focus for this officiating crew tonight.
It really is one of those 50-50 calls where it just kind of feels like if the official is feeling it, he's going to do it. And Bailey is certainly feeling it right now. As he knocks down another one, gets it back to a single-digit game. Bass thought about it. Gets it to Davis. 10 to shoot. Santiago now. Nice feed inside to Enneman. The pump fake off the glass gets it to go. And you can just see that confidence growing.
Good finish by Magnus Entenmann, but a great setup pass from Gio. I think the last bucket that Magnus had was a great setup from Reggie Bass. These guards for Kent State are so electric. They can make it easy for the big men.
Santiago, 4 assists per game. And a nice find inside on that possession. That one poked away by Santiago. He'll pick your pocket too if you're not looking. He's got 10 steals this year.
You see the Kent State defense collapsing hard on post entry right there. They're typically a very aggressive team when the ball goes into the post, trying to kick it back out. With the lack of size that they have now, expect to see them go double and go trap the post probably more often than we've seen early in the season.
A nice ovation there as Enneman came out of the game. Pearson just had to throw that up. Just one of those fortunate spots right there for Ball State. Off that desperation miss, reset the shot clock, able to put it in. Payton, spin move, turn around, just missed it. Foul going the other way.
Like the effort from Julius Rollins, crashing the boards right there, trying to get that tip back to CP.
So Kent State will look to close out this impressive first half. They've got a 9-point lead. They'll look to build on it here in the final, 3:41. MAC opener here tonight in the MAC Center. Kent State hosting Ball State with a 9-point lead. And take a look at the preseason poll. And really, your guess is as good as anyone's as to how this conference is going to play out. But Akron received 11 first-place votes, and Kent State right there at number 2. Ball State picked to finish 8th, and maybe a little surprising to me. When you look at the numbers of Ball State, you think 8th. That seems a little low for them, but they have really struggled on the road.
And it just shows how tough of a league this is. No easy games in the MAC, no easy games on the road in any conference. But this is a tough conference, and they're going to slug it out right up until mid-March when we head up to Cleveland.
And then once you get to Cleveland, it's anybody's guess again, because that tournament has produced upsets galore over the years. And what is a very competitive league. They've really struggled this year out of conference. Usually see the MAC get a couple marquee wins, but just really couldn't get too many of them this year, and we'll see how it shapes out now in conference play.
And we're watching 2 teams tonight, 8-4, 7-5 overall, and they're much better teams than what their record shows at this point. See Ball State showing some zone coming out of the media timeout.
10 to shoot. Santiago back over. Davis in the corner. Can't get it, but Payton's got the board. Gets it back into Davis. Nice pump fake. Gets the shot to fall.
Typically see teams go zone to attempt to disrupt the rhythm offensively of an opponent, but the downfall is it's hard to rebound. And you see CP go get an offensive rebound, and it ends up with an easy bucket for Von Davis.
Pearson outside. No good. But he's really not been able to get it going so far tonight for Ball State. Just 3 points on the night. Reggie drives in, gets it to go.
Good ball movement from Kent State. You see Reggie Bass attacking the baseline. Tough spot to guard in that zone defense.
Bass now the second leading scorer for the Golden Flashes with 8. The outside shot just not falling for Ball State. Reggie directing traffic. Just over 2 to go until halftime. Again drives in baseline. Unable to convert that one. This is an important final 2 minutes here for Ball State to try and cut into this thing and keep it somewhat close going into the locker room.
And to really figure out where their point's going to come from. We've seen a couple of miscommunications defensively from Kent State that led to open threes, and there's another one. If those threes aren't falling for Ball State, how are they going to cut into this deficit?
Santiago with the steal. Took it away from Jihad. And Jihad picks up the foul underneath. Little shove to Peyton. I'll send Chris to the line.
Chris Payton, most free throw attempts on the team, even with these guards for Kent State that do such a good job attacking the rim. Chris Payton doing a really good job getting himself to the free throw line. It's taken his scoring numbers really through the roof this season.
I think that's what makes him especially dangerous too. It's great on cue, misses the free throw, but for a big man to be able to convert your free throws at such a high clip, that puts him above so many others.
78% from the free throw line this season. Say an uncharacteristic miss right there. But he's a guy, you know, if you can get him a high percentage touch in the post, he's going to make something happen. He's going to score it, or he's going to get fouled, and he's going to knock those down.
That's the first missed free throw of the night for Kent State. I got it. And he missed both.
Ball State has seemed to look the most comfortable offensively when they were able to play faster, a little bit faster tempo, out in transition. Kent State's half-court defense has seemed pretty locked in on everything that they're trying to run.
7 to shoot. Pearson looks for help, gives it to Bailey. Bailey's had the hot hand for the Cardinals here in this first half. 1 to shoot, floats it up off the glass, count it.
Tough floater late in the shot clock.
Kent State trying to get a quick 2-for-1 possession, but it's going to be an offensive foul the other way.
See Ty Freeman expecting the contact, you know, and as an offensive player, you're taught to kind of initiate. You make the first bump and then go up strong. Again, the officials see it a little bit differently, going with the offensive foul call.
So Ball State has a chance to make this a 2-possession game if they convert from the outside. They'll try to do that, and just too much on it. Sullinger throws it up. Peyton comes flying in and throws it down.
Chris Payton at his best, playing above the rim in transition.
And quickly on the other end, Jihad draws the foul. We'll go to the line to shoot 2. Chris Payton, though, coming in out of nowhere, but making his presence known, throws it down.
And again, could have been an and one. Could have put it back on the free throw line.
I think he took his frustration out on the rim after those 2 missed free throws. It's been Peyton and Bailey going back and forth here. Peyton with 13, Bailey has 14.
Expected it to be a tough matchup with Jihad guarding Chris Payton tonight, but the way Kent State has used him and kept him on the move, catching, hasn't necessarily been many back to the basket, you know, one-on-one post-touch type attempts for Chris Payton tonight. Everything on the move, on the ball screen and roll, in transition. It's making him a much tougher player to guard.
So Kent State can hold here for the final possession. They lead 39-30. Sullinger gets the offense going. Ten to shoot. Sullinger. Left drive in, and the foul. Send Ty Freeman to the line.
Solid possession offensively for Kent State. That last possession of the half is so important. You see Ty Freeman attacking the rim, not settling for a long jumper. Again, getting himself back to the free throw line. You know, it's something that Ball State's going to be talking about in the locker room at halftime is how do we keep this team off the free throw line?
And it's a good possession too, because had the foul not been called there, they still would have had a chance for a tip in or a putback with 3 seconds on the clock. So often, I feel like you see possessions where it's one shot and that's their only opportunity. But a nice job by Kent State there to give themselves an opportunity if needed.
You see Kent State send Reggie Bass to the scorer's table on the make. He'll sub in to slow Ball State down. Been a lot of possessions this season where we've seen Kent State show zone in this last possession of the half. See a little bit of full court defense. Force Ball State to work to even get a shot off.
Full court pass is converted. Can they score? Turnaround no good. And that'll do it for the first half here from the Mack Center. Kent State able to kind of impose their will for a good stretch of that first half. Pushes it out to an 11-point lead as they lead at the break, 41-30. Stick around. We'll have halftime stats and analysis for you here. Halftime here at the Mack Center as Kent State leads Ball State 41-30. As the Golden Flash is able to kind of impose their will there midway through that first half, find themselves up 11. Andy Jardy alongside Jana Ashley. Jana, this was a pretty close first couple minutes, and then Kent State able to pull away there midway through the first half.
Kent State with an 11-point lead. They felt much more in control than the score shows right now. If Kent State will continue to defend and rebound, hold their own with the second best rebounding team in the MAC, they could come away with a 1-0 record in the MAC.
Yeah, and there's a couple things that just really jump off the page here in this first half too. Kent State just in the paint has had their way with Ball State, 28-4.
28-4 points in the paint. Another stat that stands out, 13 for 16, getting to the free throw line 16 times for Kent State. Again, holding their own on the boards and defending the three-point line. We know Ball State can get hot. Has to be something that Kent State really focuses on coming back out in the second half.
Yeah, and Kent State yet to make a three-pointer, which is a little surprising too. They've only attempted the 4, but 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. And both these teams talked about the numbers early on too. They're on pace. Kent State right about at 80 points right now for their pace, and Ball State on the road right about at that 60 points as well. So
you see Ball State again struggling to score on the road. They're going to struggle to get to 60. For Kent State, if they can hold them right around 60, this is going to be a good night for the Flashes.
Kent State will look to close out in the second half. We'll be back right after this. Kent State leads 41-30. Just about ready to get the second half underway here at the Mack Center. Kent State with a 41-30 lead, and it was really two guys in that first half that set the offensive tone for both sides, as Bailey, of course one of the guys we didn't talk about in pregame, has shown us up tonight.
14 points in the first half. He averages 10 on the season per game. He's not a part of that big three. When you look at the big three, that production, they've got 14 points combined right now. Davion Bailey matching that.
Peyton continues to be impressive for Kent State. He got into the paint, scored the first 7 points. He had a couple dunks in that first half. Even his missed dunks were impressive, as Chris Peyton continues to just be the workhorse of this Golden Flashes offense. 13
points in 15 minutes. Get to the free throw line 5 times, where he's missed 2 but has knocked a lot of them down. Chris Peyton just continues to set the tone for Kent State.
You see the numbers. Bailey with 14 points. His career high is 16, which he did against Arkansas Pine Bluff back on November 24th of this season, and he's scored in double digits in 4 of his 8 games, make that 5 of 9 games this season. Really an impressive showing out of both of these guys too. Peyton just continues to do Peyton things, and these two pacing the offenses.
And if you're Davion Bailey, it's, come on guys, somebody's got to help me out here. You expect to get that production out of their big three on a night where he's getting 14. That should be icing on the cake, and right now he's having to carry too much of the load for Ball State. Yeah,
you can only imagine what kind of game this would be if any of the triple threat of Ball State had any sort of offense tonight. The 3 of them have really struggled.
This game's not over yet, though,
so
we talked about those guys being the big 3 and being a lot of their production on the offensive end. Expect them to come out and try to catch up that margin in the second half.
I think these first 4 minutes, you coached, you know it, the first 4 minutes out of halftime are so important, especially if you're trailing. You got a chance to come out and kind of set the tone and make up for those mistakes.
You know, for Kent State, we saw them in the first half defend, get stops, and get the ball into CP early on with high percentage looks.
Jihad gets
starts on the defensive end right here.
Just unable to finish, but it's going to stay here. Rollins unable to bring it in. Good move from Jihad, though. He got Peyton up in the air. Anderson will inbound. Jihad turnaround, no good. Freeman pulls down the board.
See Ball State a little more aggressive start the second half on the ball. A little too aggressive.
Yeah, we showed the graphic too in the first half. They don't commit a lot of fouls, but they had quite a few. They almost matched their season average in that first half with 12. Santiago with the crossover. Now looks for help.
Mismatch in the post.
Peyton backs his way in, now kicks it out. Corner three, is it the first one of the night? It is for the Golden Flashes.
Good ball movement, great extra pass from Gio Santiago. Ty Freeman with his feet set in the corner. He's gonna knock down a lot of those.
He's a 60% three-point shooter on the season. It's now the largest lead for Kent State at 14. Pearson trying to get it going. Comes up a little bit short, but there for the putback, Jalen Anderson.
Seen Ball State start the second half attacking the rim and attacking the offensive glass. When the three ball's not falling, they got to find a way to manufacture some offense.
Peyton bullies his way in. Back up to a 14-point lead. Anderson, impressive shot, gets it to go. He'll try and convert the old-fashioned three-point play. We saw Freeman knock down that three-pointer a couple possessions ago. And you'll see him at the top of the MAC leaders in three-point percentage too.
And going into the season, everybody in the MAC is worried about Jalen Sellinger on the three-point line, one of the best shooters in the league all of last year. Kent State goes into the portal, finds Ty Freeman. He comes in and is shooting a very impressive 60% from the three-point line.
Yeah, he transferred in from Central Florida. Spent 2 seasons there with the Knights. Coming off a 16.7 rebound game at Oregon a couple games ago. That was his season high.
See Ball State going back into their zone defense, trying to disrupt the rhythm of Kent State. Great inside out, paint touch, kick out, feet set three for Brendan Moss.
Brendan Moss. Now Kent State's made their last 2 3-pointers after going 0 for 4 in that first half. So the only way Ball State's gonna be able to get themselves back into this, they gotta get some stops defensively, because every time they've come down and scored, Kent State's been able to answer.
You know, and for Ball State, it's frustrating because in the first half, you couldn't keep them out of the paint. They were so aggressive, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, and cold from the three-point line, and now they come out in the second half and knock down 2 threes.
Freeman trying to go coast to coast. Gets a little turned around there, unable to finish. Good defense by Jihad.
This is where Ball State's got to capitalize. You get a stop, you got to come away with points.
Jalen Anderson so far has seemed a little more aggressive here in this second half. Didn't see him do much in the first half, but he's taken a couple shots and really looked to get going. Good defense by Kent State. Are they going to go 3 for their last 3? No, that one unable to go. On the other end, Ball State can't get that shot to go.
Can't get it to go, kind of bail Kent State out, transition right there. Poor shot selection, leads to transition for Ball State. Again, those are the possessions where you have to come away with points if you're going to chip away at this lead.
Yeah, those quick ones in transition can really kind of swing the momentum as well, too. Ball State unable to get a stop there. As Moss again.
Good response from Brendan Moss. Maybe took a bad shot on the last possession. Like to see him learn from that and attack the rim aggressive on the next play.
Well, that's what the Cardinals are going to need. Jihad pulls up from deep and gets it. Santiago all the way around. Can Kent State answer with their own three? They cannot.
You know, if you're Kent State now, you see 2 threes go in, but you don't want to fall in love with that. Stick with what was working, those high percentage looks, being aggressive, getting into the paint. A couple of threes come off now. Need to get back to those high percentage shots in the post. Let's get a post touch or a roll for Chris Payton. Get one of these guards attacking the rim.
10 to shoot. Santiago drives into the lane. Tough shot. Almost rolled in. Couldn't get it to go. And Ball State has kind of bobbed and weaved these last couple possessions, still hanging around. Jihad, mid-range. Can't get it to go. Moss back out to Payton. Payton pulls up. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Chris Payton.
Chris Payton's hit 4 threes on the season before tonight. And again, if you're Ball State, what else can go wrong?
Well, they're going to try and figure it out because it was an 11-point deficit at the half, and it has ballooned here as Kent State up 54-38. Payton doing it on both ends with the block. And then on the offensive side, he's got some range. Ball State trying to find a way to get back into this one, now trailed by 16, and they've got some of the max leading scorers that can help them get back into this as Jihad has started to find it here in the second half.
We saw Jihad with 9 points, a quiet 9 points, 5 of those from the free throw line in the first half. And now you look up early in the second half and he's already got 15. He's a guy who leads a team in scoring 18 points a game. You're not going to hold him down all night. And when other guys aren't playing well, he's the type of guy that can step up and do big things on a night when they're going to need more than, you know, just the 14 points out of Davion Bailey in the first half.
Yeah, last year against Kent State, Jihad scored in double figures both games. He had 11 and 13, so now a new high against the Golden Flashes with 15 here tonight so far. Foul inside is going to go, it looks like, against Brendan Moss.
Brendan Moss picked up 2 fouls tonight. I think both very similar, trying to contest a shot. Something that as you get older in the Kent State program, you really learn how to defend without fouling, something that Kent State prides themselves on.
Golden Flashes up 16 here in the second half. Got some young Golden Flashes going wild there during the media timeout as Mason Jones is at the line shooting free throws, and Mason Jones might be about as Indiana as it gets. He's the son of Casey and Eric Jones. His dad played football at Notre Dame. His mom played softball at Indiana, and his brother Cooper plays football at Indiana.
Athletic genes in that family.
Sure are. (54-40), 14 minutes to go, second half. These teams trying to get back in the win column, both coming into tonight on 2-game losing streaks. Pass with a nice pass inside. Gets it to Ty Freeman, who converts.
Really good ball movement again from Kent State. You see Ty Freeman camped out in the middle of that zone defense. He's got soft touch. Good job for Kent State moving the ball around the perimeter and then finding him right in the middle of that zone.
I asked Coach Senderoff before the game, what was the biggest message or point of emphasis you made to your team after that St. Mary's loss? And he said ball movement. They just were not good moving the ball around. And here they go in transition. Santiago, maybe a little too much ball movement on that one, but Kent State will keep possession. Santiago with the head fake, gets in, gets it to Freeman, but he can't finish.
Gio was thinking highlight in that transition play.
Mid-range shot no good, but a foul underneath. There's Ben Hendricks coming up a little bit short. Freeman picks up his third foul. Hendricks was one of those guys that Ball State was missing their last time out against Minnesota. Averages just over 5 points and almost 4 rebounds a game. And those are just turnovers you cannot have, especially on the road.
And down 16 in the second half on a possession where you execute based on out of bounds, you should come away with a good look. Ball State doesn't even give themselves a chance to get a shot up.
That was something Kent State did a lot of in the first half too. Just forcing Ball State into turnovers and making them pay for it. As Reggie with the corner three. And it's now a 19-point lead for Kent.
Another really good possession of ball movement, extra pass, that unselfish culture that Kent State preaches. Extra pass by Gio makes it easy for Reggie in the corner.
Mason Jones quiets the crowd for a moment, makes it 59-42. And a carry.
Backcourt, Reggie didn't get his feet down in the front court. And a mental lapse from your senior point guard right there.
Just over 12 to go. Anderson pulls up, gets it to go. Back down to a 15-point game.
We've seen Ball State go back to that ball screen, trying to get their guys good looks and get shots from the right people.
Great ball movement there. Peyton finding Davis. Anderson, nice feed inside. Hendricks. So Ball State's last couple trips now has been able to put the ball in the hoop, finding some success inside.
And for Kent State, what got this lead was defensive stops. And now they've put a little less priority on the defensive end in the last couple of minutes, and you've seen Ball State get easier looks. You don't want to see them get comfortable and get into a rhythm offensively.
And that's one thing I think that's sort of plagued this Kent State team this year are those defensive lapses where all of a sudden what looks to be, cruise control, blowout city suddenly becomes a tight game. We saw it here with the Cleveland State game, the James Madison game as well, and then when St. Mary's went on that run last game, Kent State just wasn't able to stop it.
And you see, again, another offensive rebound, easy putback. In a close game, those are the points that hurt you. Just the easy shots against no defense.
And the Golden Flashes will turn it over, so it'll be Ball State's ball on the other side of the break as they try to chip away at this thing down 15. MAC opener here from the MAC Center tonight as Kent State leads by 15. The Cardinals trying to keep a streak alive here. They've won their last 6 MAC openers, but you see the note at the bottom. Their last MAC opening loss came here against the Golden Flashes in 2017 on January 3rd, almost to the date, 7 years.
And for Kent State, 7-5 overall, maybe not the record that you would like to see in non-conference, but the MAC Center is still a really tough place to play. We dropped a couple and that home win streak is not still alive, But this is a tough gym to come on the road in MAC play and find a way to win.
We talked about it too early on in the game, but students aren't here for another couple weeks, and there's still a decent crowd on hand here tonight. Jones almost got that shot to go, but there for the putback. Jihad.
You're seeing that effort on the offensive glass from Ball State. If they're going to find a way to get this back down to single digits, it's going to come with them crashing the boards and showing why they're the second best rebounding team in the MAC.
Yeah, they trailed by 11 at the half, and now a chance to get it to 10. And count the bucket. Mason Jones, a chance to make it a 10-point game.
You saw the last possession, offensive rebound, put back, a turnover by Kent State that leads to transition for Ball State. Questionable and one. Not sure if Vaughn touched him at all. You know, but for Ball State, this is a quick 4-0 run. Gonna give him a little bit of confidence.
Jones gets it to go. He had a career and season-high 12 points versus Indiana State 2 games ago. And Ball State feeling a little bit of momentum. See how the Golden Flashes try and get the momentum back on their side. Sullinger gets the foul called on him. He's just so quick that he draws a lot of that contact like that.
And Jalen Sullinger is a guy who can score on all 3 levels. You have to close out tight because he has range, you know, close to the logo, but he can get by you off the dribble, and he's got a crazy floater game. So again, tough guy, and if you foul him, he's gonna hit free throws.
Davis out of control. Freeman able to save it though. 8 to shoot. Santiago. 5 to shoot, trying to get it to Payton. Now he throws it all the way across the court. Freeman 1 to shoot. I don't know if he's going to get it off in time, and it's short either way. And Ball State, a chance to make it a single-digit deficit.
For a team that's down on the road, you know, you talk about you got to get it done on the defensive end, and Ball State right now getting stops, getting offensive rebounds, and then getting hot from the 3-point line. It's a recipe for disaster for Kent State.
Jihad from outside makes it a 7-point game. Kent State led this thing by 19 here in the second half at 59 to 40. Payton muscling his way in, but it doesn't fall. And I think Jihad was out of bounds when he came down with that rebound. He's got the range too. He's not just a big man inside. Reason he's one of the top scorers in the conference. Davis underneath. It's a big time bucket for Kent State right there. Something to stop that little Ball State run. And an offensive foul the other way. So Kent State up 9. But Ball State hanging around with sheer Jihad, doing what he can to keep the Cardinals in it. Down just 9. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second half. Kent State leads 65-56, and the Golden Flashes will be home again next Tuesday. A rematch of the MAC Championship Tournament game last year against the Toledo Rockets. It'll be alumni night. Maybe I'll make a return visit for that, and should be a really good game between those two.
Great matchup. When you said rematch of the conference championship game from last season, you know, two teams that need a MAC win in that situation. I think last season last season, those two teams only matched up one time. It was a home game for Kent State. Stole one and then didn't have to go back on the road at Toledo, which played out well down the stretch with the standings. You know, so for a team and a matchup, Kent State and Toledo, you have to hold court at home.
Toledo, surprisingly this year, off to a bit of a slow start at 6-6. Last couple of years, I mean, they've been one of the better regular season teams. They just can't find a way to punch that ticket to the dance up in Cleveland. Kent State trying to put the finishing touches here on the MAC opener, led by as many as 19, but Ball State's been able to hang around. Von Cameron Davis doesn't want that to happen anymore. Muscles his way in.
Physical finish from Von Cameron Davis. And you see Kent State coming out of that timeout, really executing offense, using clock, getting the ball where they want it to be.
Davis now has 8 points, and Jihad just unable to get that one to fall. Peyton going up against Jihad. Turnaround. Misses, but there for the rebound was Davis, and he will go to the line.
That's one of those things from Von Cameron Davis that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but that effort that he gives on the glass, his physical play, just no quit in him. For Kent State, he's a guy with experience, and he's such a strong finisher.
So the free throw line was a huge point for Kent State in that first half. They went 13 of 16. This is their first trip to the line here in the second half with 6:57 to go.
You know, had to be a point of emphasis for Ball State in the locker room at halftime to defend without fouling. But also, we saw Kent State come out early in the second half and see 2 threes go in, kind of fall in love with the 3-ball for a couple possessions there. They got away from being aggressive and giving themselves opportunities to get to the free throw line.
Davis makes them both. And the lead up to 13 again. Ball State's going to have to get some buckets quickly and get some stops if they want to come back into this thing. Pearson from the corner. He just has not had it tonight for Ball State as Peyton tracks down the rebound. Kent State will be very methodical with their offense here down the stretch, using as much of that clock as they can.
A good decision from Jalen Sullinger in transition right there to slow it down.
But Peyton just unable to hold on to it there. But Santiago, so stealthy, just comes in, knocks it away. Kent State can take more time off the clock, get this thing under 6.
I think you're going to see a lot of offensive play calling coming from the bench, coming from Coach Cindy right now to kind of dictate where we're getting shots and how much time Kent State's taking off the clock.
Good look for Sullinger, just couldn't convert it. On the other end, it'll be Anderson off the glass. Much better second half for Jalen Anderson. Yeah, just 2 points in the first half. Reggie gets it to go, or excuse me, Ty Freeman. And is that, who is that down over there for Ball State right now? Is that, can't tell if that's Mason Jones.
33.
Yeah, Mason Jones. A little slow to get up, but now able to walk it off. Might have just gotten his ankle caught up there with Ty Freeman, freshman out of Valparaiso. He was a 4-year varsity letter winner at Valparaiso High School, Mr. Basketball candidate and Indiana All-Star. Over 1,400 career points. That's not too shabby.
Not too shabby. While we got a little break in the action, I have a text message on my phone. I'm promised $100 if I shout out my parents and my favorite neighbors in Chelsea, Alabama They're watching the broadcast right now, critiquing our every word.
I'm sure.
So, Dr. Tiger Evans, I will send you my Venmo.
Got to do what you got to do. Pearson trying to do what he's got to do, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. It's just been a tough night for Mickey Pearson Jr., but he is from where your family is, down in Alabama, the Lincoln, Alabama native.
You know, and again, you see Ball State getting back to the free throw line. They're doing all of the little things that you have to do to chip away at a lead. They just haven't quite been able to go on a big run. You know, it's been 5 points, 6 points, but they haven't. Every time they get to that 5 or 6-0 run, Kent State finds a way to answer or get themselves back to the free throw line, or, you know, a Chris Payton highlight dunk. So Ball State's doing everything they can. It's just not quite enough.
Well, that's just one of the problems, too. When you get yourself into such a deficit like they were, you have to play perfect the rest of the way to even give yourself a chance. I mean, down 19 in the second half, pretty much everything has to go your way for you to come back and win that kind of game. But they fought hard. There's no question about that.
Aggressive post D. See Von Cameron Davis back down in that short corner spot where he's been so physical and such a great finisher tonight. Ball State trying to keep the ball out of his hands, picks up a cheap foul.
Feed inside Davis. Off the inbounds, just muscling his way in for 2.
Second time tonight they've gone to Von Davis off the inbounds, right in the paint, and he's been able to muscle it up and finish through even a little bit of contact.
So Ball State's got to get something going here quick. 4.5 to go, down 13. Anderson, that'll do. Makes it a 10-point game.
Yeah, we talked early on that they need production from that big 3. Those guys have to show up, but Kent State has to defend the 3-point line. Ball State, second best 3-point shooting team in the MAC. Didn't show it in the first half, but they're showing it in the second half.
Sullinger, a much-needed 3 for him. It's been a rough couple of games for him, but that one had to feel good for Jalen Sullinger. As he pushes it back out to a 13-point lead. Answers the Anderson 3. As Sullinger now with 8 points, 3 of them coming here on a big 3 for the Golden Flashes. Winding down here from the MAC Center, 4:04 to go. Kent State leads 76-63. Ball State's going to have to get some scoring in some bunches quickly. They'll have to do that from beyond the arc as you see their numbers tonight. Right about on average, but they're going to have to get a couple more to go here to come back and win this thing.
We saw him go 3 for 10 in the first half and now 3 for 6 in the second half. So much higher percentage when you just look at the second half numbers. And it feels like every time they start to chip away, it's because they get a big 3. You
see Michael Lewis there, his second year coaching at Ball State. Guided them to a 20-12 season last year. They were the 4 seed in the MAC tournament. I think they're going to be a dangerous team in the MAC. They've got too much talent offensively to not give teams problems. It just hasn't been their night here tonight, as a lot of teams find here in the MAC Center. Sullinger might have gotten a hand on that one, definitely altered that shot there.
You know, and like you said, for Ball State, they've got too much offensive firepower for teams to be able to hold them down. You know, and especially, I don't want to see this team at home.
No. And Kent State will have to go there towards the end of the season, March 5th. 5 to shoot, Santiago. And an offensive foul called.
Brendan Moss picking up another cheap foul tonight. I don't know if he's earned any of his 3 fouls so far.
Yeah, that was, I don't know about that one. It will put Ball State at the line, though, for a 1-and-1. Jalen Anderson, 71% free throw shooter. This is his first trip to the line tonight. And he gets that first one to go. Let's take a look back at this foul here. Not a whole lot there.
Not a lot of contact, but a savvy play from a veteran guard who will do anything he can to get himself to the free throw line and see the ball go in for his team.
It was almost like when he crouched, it made it look worse because it looked like there was like a shoulder to the head there. But yeah, savvy move. So that's an 11-point game, 3:10 to go. Sullinger, a little out of control, but he is fouled. It's just amazing too, when Sullinger sees that three go down, it seems to just get his motor going, and he's like a completely different player once one goes through for him.
Yeah, absolute confidence, and you see Kent State go back to that ball screen, Ball State jumping out and taking away his ability to use the screen, so he refuses it, gets back to his strong left hand where he wants to be anyway, and like you said, if he gets a half a step on you, he's getting to the rim.
Free throws going to be so big here for Kent State, trying to put the finishing touches on a win here. They're one of the best free throw shooting teams. 3 minutes to go, 13-point deficit. Ball State just hasn't been able to sustain a long enough run to really get themselves in a position to come back and make this thing a game. As Pearson, he finally gets one to go. It just has been a rough night for Mickey Pearson, but gets one there.
I think the length of Kent State and, you know, nothing easy at the rim mentality has made it much tougher for him to be able to score tonight.
He scored in double figures in 8 of 11 games, but just 7 points here tonight. There's Sullinger again, just finds a way to get that contact.
Returning to the line for the Flashes, Jalen Sullinger, shooting 1-1.
Talked about the free throw shooting, and the guy at the line right now, best on the team at 84%. Santiago, Reggie Bass, right there with him. That's what makes Kent State such a dangerous team too, because if you're trailing against them, putting them at the free throw line isn't going to help you.
That's some, you know, veteran guards who will take care of the ball, will make the right decision. But like you said, if you get in that situation where a team is giving fouls, they're almost automatic.
Sullinger able to get the rebound there. Kent State can start to taste victory with 2 minutes to go, up 13.
Big possession right here. You want to see Kent State execute, use clock, and then get a good shot deep in the shot clock.
You always want to get that first conference game too. I think mentally just to see yourself towards the top sometimes can help. You don't want to find yourself at the bottom of the standings at any point, and just get it out of the way.
Absolutely. After tonight, half the league is going to be 1-0, and half the league is going to be 0-1. And the next game doesn't get any easier. No easy games in the MAC. It's a really tough league to get wins home or away. And
you have to protect your home court. I know that's stating the obvious, but the teams that are going to be there at the top don't lose at home. And if you can play, you know, a little bit above 500 or even 500 on the road, you're going to find yourself with a good seed going into the MAC tournament at the end of the year.
See Kent State getting deep into the shot clock, getting the ball to Von Cameron Davis, back in that same short corner spot where he's been so physical and been able to finish at a really high rate tonight.
Davis will be at the line to shoot 1-1. That was the 5th foul on Jalen Anderson, so he's done for the night. Finished with 13 points. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. I was curious to see how Ball State would come out. They hadn't played a game since December 21st. Kent State, I don't know which is worse, if you were Kent State, who had to make 2 West Coast trips around the holidays, or Ball State, who hasn't played in 2 weeks. But Kent State, it looks like able to navigate through that and came out a little more pep in their step.
Hey, typically with scheduling, you want to play any game, even if it's a tough travel. You want to play any game before you jump right into conference play. You know, for Kent State, if it took a tough road trip, a loss to St. Mary's, to learn some things and maybe get their attention and to get them to turn it back up for MAC play, you know, then the non-conference schedule did its job, and they're going to come away 1-0 tonight.
Crowd showing their appreciation for this effort from Kent State tonight. Santiago looks to put the finishing touches on it, but turns it over. Pearson gets it to go. Too little, too late, though, as Kent State is going to move to 1-0 in conference play, getting that MAC opener. As they get the win here tonight, 82-69. An impressive win for the Golden Flashes. It'll end their 2-game losing streak.
You know, and for Kent State, getting to the free throw line, being aggressive early on, they eventually saw the 3-ball start to fall. For Ball State, kind of too little, too late. Slow start, maybe because they've been off for 2 weeks, but they come back and start to pour it on in the second half. But again, not quite enough time left for them to make a run.
They will head back home to take on Central Michigan and Akron, and then travel to Toledo and Eastern before coming back home against Miami, Ohio. You can catch all of those games on ESPN+. As they are now on a 3-game losing streak, but nothing ends a losing streak like getting back home, and that's what the Cardinals will hope to do.
Big game tonight again from Chris Payton. You call him Mr. Consistent, 20 points on 8 for 14. He's a guy that they're going to have to lean on. He's going to have to continue to come up big for Kent State to win games in the MAC.
We'll take a look now at the Golden Flashes' upcoming schedule, and they are going to be on the road quite a bit as they will travel to Eastern Michigan on Saturday. They'll be back here in the MAC Center next Tuesday against Toledo, and then 2 on the road, Central Michigan, Northern Illinois. And then, you know, there's that big one with that team down the road, Akron.
Say two big home games, Toledo and school down the road. Glad that the students will be back in town in time for that game.
Yeah, it will be good to have the students back for that one, as Kent State gets the win here tonight, 82-69. So for Jana Ashley, I'm Andy Jardy saying so long from Kent, where the final score, Golden Flashes get the win, 82-69. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.